Hello, my name is Mary, and I'm currently involved in a collaborative effort with my husband Samuel at his family owned business, The Enterprise, run by my father in law, Liam. It's a cozy, welcoming company with a small team of about 6 people. Liam, known for his quiet demeanor, tends to stay away from daily operations, leaving much of the leadership to Samuel, who is poised to be the next president. His commitment shines through as he engages with clients and drives new projects, demonstrating his dedication to the company's growth. During major initiatives, all employees come together, creating a dynamic and passionate work environment. I have been part of this vibrant setting for 8 years since marrying into the family. However, my mother-in-law Amanda seems to have reservations about my involvement. Just recently, when I returned home early to prepare dinner while Samuel stayed late at the office, Amanda confronted me with harsh words. "How long do you plan on clinging to our family business?" she questioned, her tone heavy with reproach. Since her retirement, it seems Amanda has shifted her focus from enjoying her newfound free time to critiquing my choices. In response, I remained composed and asked, "What do you mean by clinging?" Amanda interrupted, implying that my marriage to Samuel was more out of necessity, suggesting I was exploiting the opportunity to work at their company. This wasn't the first time I faced such accusations. It was becoming a frequent occurrence. When I married Samuel, I chose to leave my previous job to join his family business. A personal decision, not a result of unemployment, as Amanda seemed to believe. "Mom, it's not that I couldn't work elsewhere. I chose to be here," I explained, but her dismissive response revealed a clear misunderstanding of my motives. The tensions with my mother-in-law didn't end with words. Despite her promises to manage the household after retiring, she rarely contributed, leaving Liam to seek her help with chores. Amanda stubbornly insisted, "I've worked all my life. Now it's the daughter-in-law's turn to handle the household duties." As a result, the responsibility often fell to me for dinner preparations and cleanup. One afternoon, I gathered my courage to address a lingering issue. "Amanda," I began hesitantly, "I've noticed the dishes often stay unwashed in the sink. It would help if you could tidy up after your meals." Unfortunately, my cautious approach ignited a fiery reaction. She lashed out, accusing me of overstepping my boundaries and questioning my right as a daughter-in-law to impose rules in her home. Caught in this draining exchange, I became acutely aware of the time slipping away. If I didn't start dinner soon, our meal would be significantly delayed. Despite my growing frustration, I managed to remain calm. "Mom, let's continue this conversation later," I suggested, hoping to ease the tension and shift my focus back to dinner preparations. Seemingly cooled by my proposal, Amanda retreated to the living room, leaving me alone with my thoughts amidst the clatter of kitchen utensils. Both Liam and Samuel were no strangers to Amanda's abrasive treatment. They often tried to intervene when they witnessed it. However, their attempts seemed to have little impact. Each time they addressed the issue, their expressions reflected deep concern and frustration, demonstrating their earnest desire to foster harmony within our family dynamic. Ironically, when they admonished Amanda, it only redirected her anger toward me, intensifying her hostility. Though I had never endured physical violence, the emotional weight of Amanda's words was profound. Liam and Samuel's support was my refuge, helping me withstand her biting remarks. That support was tested one particularly challenging morning. After cleaning up from breakfast and preparing to leave for work, Amanda suddenly exclaimed, "Oh my, what a mess! A trash heap here." Without warning, she doused my handbag with a bucket of water. I stood frozen, a mix of shock and anger leaving me speechless. "What are you doing, Amanda?" I finally managed to say, my voice trembling with disbelief. Her response was dismissively flippant, reminiscent of a mischievous child. "Oh, was that your stuff? I thought it was just a big piece of trash." Her casual dismissal only fueled my fury. "Even if you thought it was trash, who pours water on it?" I protested, struggling to understand her callous disregard. In the morning light flooding the living room, I found myself facing Amanda, her expression icy and determined, as if she had resolved to take drastic action. "What kind of reasoning is that? Now the carpet is soaked, and what about the vacuum cleaner?" My words tumbled out, laced with confusion and frustration as I hurriedly removed my waterlogged items from my bag. Important work documents were laid out on the table to dry. Amanda looked back at me with chilling nonchalance, her face revealing neither remorse nor concern for the chaos she had caused. You don't need to go to work anymore, she stated flatly. I was utterly baffled by her declaration. Excuse me? My reply was heavy with disbelief. Her next words felt like a sharp stab to my heart. You've been clinging to this house for 8 years, but today I can finally get rid of you. Her voice was filled with a venom and resolve I had never witnessed before. My mind spun as sorrow swelled within me. Getting rid of me? I echoed, disbelief coloring my tone. She made me feel like a complete outsider in this family. My daughter is joining the company, so we need you to leave. Today's your last day. All you have to do is bow your head to your father-in-law and Samuel and apologize for all the trouble you've caused. Her mocking laughter felt like salt in my wounds. She was leveraging my position at work to oust me. I had poured years into that job, building both respect and cherished memories. And now, I stood shocked and heartbroken. I struggled to comprehend the harshness of her decree. I had devoted myself to this family, yet it felt as though my sacrifices were meaningless to her. Are you sure about this? Wasn't Emma working in a clothing store in Philadelphia? I questioned, my voice tinged with confusion and concern. My role was more than just a paycheck. It was my path to personal fulfillment. Emma, my sister-in-law, had grown weary of city life and its impersonal interactions. She told me she was tired of dealing with the coldness of Philadelphia, so I had offered her a job once she returned home. But Amanda's explanation left little room for argument. Amanda, I said, but her words struck like a harsh winter gust. She's agreed to come back immediately, and now that she is, I want you out of this house. Her declaration was staggering, almost impossible to absorb. With a single sweeping decision, she was ready to uproot my life, completely disregarding my place within the family without any opportunity for discussion. She coldly handed me an envelope. I've written your resignation letter, she announced, effectively banishing me from our home. In that moment, my heart shattered. Years of dedication and togetherness felt dismissed as trivial, like discarded pieces of paper. Her actions tore at the fabric of our family bond, leaving it irreparably damaged. With a heavy heart, I made the short 5-minute walk to the company, a path I had trodden countless times before, but never with such a tumult of emotions. Under the cool morning sky, each step felt laden with the gravity of the unfolding situation. Upon entering the office, I braced myself for the inevitable. I shared the news with my father-in-law Liam and my husband Samuel, relaying Amanda's harsh ultimatum. Their expressions reflected a blend of shock and restrained anger, yet they remained composed amidst the turmoil. Tentatively, they suggested that perhaps it was time for me to step away, to show Amanda the real impact of her demands. This idea plunged my heart into further chaos. After years of relentless work at our family business, the thought of taking a break longer than the brief holidays of Thanksgiving or Christmas felt both foreign and overwhelming. However, encouraged by Samuel and Liam's supportive words, "Why don't you spread your wings for a change?" I'd resolved to take a short trip. As I packed, my mind swirled with reflections on my life, the choices I had made, and what the future might hold. Meanwhile, my sister-in-law Emma, who was supposed to replace me at the company, arrived shockingly late at 2 p.m. Her lackadaisical attitude left Samuel and Liam bewildered and frustrated. Despite their efforts to engage her, Emma showed little interest in grasping the intricacies of the business. Hearing this, a wave of anxiety washed over me regarding the company's future, even as I looked forward to my journey. I was determined to leave without another encounter with Amanda. As the train pulled away, I quickly set off, gazing out at the shifting landscape. It was a moment to reflect on my past and present. This journey offered not just physical distance but a chance to breathe and consider the path ahead. While savoring the local seafood specialties, my thoughts often drifted back to my family and our business. On the 5th day of my retreat, my serenity was abruptly disrupted by a tearful call from Emma. "What's going on?" Mom said it was an easy job, just sitting in a chair, but Samuel and Dad are acting like I can't do anything right, she lamented. Her words, likely echoing my mother-in-law's assurances, caught me off guard. Despite the leisurely pace of my days, I knew it was time to address the reality of the situation. "So, Emma, how proficient are you with computers?" I asked, sensing her hesitation. "Well, I usually watch videos online and play games," she replied, her answer hinting at limited technical expertise. Curious about her capabilities, I probed further. "What about software tools like Word or Excel?" Her puzzled expression surprised me, especially considering her background in the Philadelphia apparel industry. where tracking sales and managing inventory would require basic computer skills. Can you handle calculations for sales or fill out documents? I inquired. She confidently assured me she could manage that task. However, when I pressed with a more specific question, can you calculate the right amount of tax? Her confidence faltered. This wasn't just a test of her math skills, it was about her ability to apply them in a practical business setting. While Emma might have other talents, it was clear she lacked the skills needed for the job. Her discomfort grew, especially regarding calculations, likely fueling the criticism from Liam and Samuel. It's crucial to confront the motives of my mother-in-law and her supporters who want to oust me, I thought. Since you're taking over my role, I expect you to manage the accounting tasks proficiently. Also, be mindful of email etiquette. What's casual among friends is inappropriate for business communications. You'll also be responsible for scheduling staff shifts. Our team is small, but we take everyone's requests for time off seriously, so don't prioritize your convenience over theirs. I advised her firmly as I outlined her responsibilities. I could hear Emma sobbing on the other end of the line. It was a tough conversation, but necessary to help her grasp the reality and expectations of the role she was stepping into. I thought it would be straightforward, but Emma abruptly ended the call, clearly overwhelmed by the tasks ahead. Over the next 4 days, I took the opportunity to explore Philadelphia, the very place Emma had escaped from. Surprisingly, I found the locals warmer than I had expected, a stark contrast to the cold-hearted nature of my mother-in-law Amanda and Emma, who seemed intent on pushing me out. A week after leaving my job, I returned to my in-laws' house. As soon as I arrived, Amanda confronted me, her face flushed with fury. "How dare you make my daughter cry? You won't get away with this," she yelled, her eyes blazing with anger and confusion. Before she could reach me, Samuel and Liam intervened, trying to calm her down, although her anger showed no signs of easing. Emma is upset because she got scolded for trying to boss around her employees without knowing how to do it properly. It's not Mary's fault. Besides, Mary hasn't been here for a week, so she couldn't have upset Emma, Samuel explained, his voice calm yet firm as he sought to dispel the baseless accusations. Amanda shot back, her emotions boiling over. "It's because of her. This woman is the reason for Emma's troubles." She hurled suspicions at me without any real basis. "Where is Emma, by the way?" I asked, scanning the room but finding her nowhere, deepening the mystery. "It's odd. Emma has nowhere else to go since she gave up her apartment in Philadelphia. I assumed she'd be here." I pondered aloud. Samuel then shared, "Emma's locked herself in her room. She's been crying and doesn't want to go to work anymore. She's overwhelmed, likely because she lacks the skills needed for the job." Amanda, still incensed, accused, "You've been turning Samuel and Liam against me. They wouldn't say the company runs better with you than with Emma, unless you poison them against her." Samuel sighed deeply, clearly weary of the ongoing family drama and his futile attempts to clear up misunderstandings. "Mom," he began again, hoping to clarify, "it might sound unusual, but Mary is exceptional at her work. She's certified in bookkeeping, her secretarial skills are top-notch, and she's even studied Spanish abroad. She handles all our multilingual communications at the company." His voice carried a hint of pride. Amanda looked surprised, clearly unaware of my qualifications and contributions. "That sounds like something out of a TV show," she muttered, reflecting on the unexpected information. I had been so focused on earning various certifications and immersing myself in my studies that I hardly had time for social activities or romance. It was during this time that I met Samuel when he visited my company for business. As I recounted the story of how we first met, I tried to bridge the gap between misunderstandings and the reality of our lives. However, I quickly realized that Amanda wasn't interested in hearing about my qualifications or past achievements, so I redirected the conversation to the present situation. In a nutshell, I handle a wide range of tasks at the company, from accounting and scheduling to liaising with other businesses and managing employee shifts, I explained, outlining the broad scope of my responsibilities. Samuel chimed in, "The work environment has been much better since you were more involved." His comment surprised Amanda. Just then, Liam, Samuel's father, interjected with a surprising revelation. "We're considering shutting down the company soon. Emma made a significant mistake. Instead of preparing documents, she chose to handle phone calls because she thought it would be more fun. She ended up being rude to an important contact, which could have serious repercussions. I was stunned, covering my mouth in disbelief. I can't believe Emma would do something like that, I murmured, filled with dread at the thought of how her actions could potentially lead to the company's downfall. As I wrestled with these anxious thoughts, the story took another unexpected turn. Liam explained that the president of the other company had suggested considering a merger, expressing interest in absorbing our family business. This unforeseen yet hopeful development could stabilize our customer base, something Samuel had been striving for through his diligent sales efforts. Relief washed over Samuel and Liam, but not Amanda. Suddenly, she objected, "That's not acceptable. Samuel must become the president. This company is ours, isn't it? He's not just going to be an employee." Amanda exclaimed passionately, unwilling to accept the possibility of losing the prestige associated with owning the business. Her outburst caught the attention of Emma, who had come downstairs to see what the commotion was about. Amid the chaos, Liam spoke up with a calm but decisive tone. "I am divorcing you. You've not only resisted change and neglected your duties at home and to the family, but have also learned about your escapades with younger men. I can't support that behavior any longer." His announcement shocked everyone, especially Samuel and me. Liam then retrieved divorce papers and a photo of Amanda with a young man from a shelf in the living room, placing them on the table. "You can see these divorce papers now and take your belongings. I won't pursue alimony. Trying to get any money from you would be pointless," he stated firmly. "How can you say that? Haven't I devoted myself to this house all these years?" Amanda protested. "Have you done any real housework in the last 8 years? Spending someone else's money on young men doesn't count as devotion to this house," Liam countered, revealing a rare frustration. It was the first time we'd seen such a stern side of him, usually mild-mannered, as he addressed the deep-seated issues simmering within the family. The sight of Liam, usually so composed, visibly upset, shocked everyone, especially Emma, who had just entered the room. Her body shook slightly, a clear sign of her astonishment and fear. "Emma, this involves you too," Liam declared, his voice firm. "You came back because you couldn't make it on your own in Philadelphia, and now you can't even secure a job here. You act as if you're above everyone else. You've stopped trying altogether. It's time for you to leave this house as well." Emma was stunned, her face a mix of confusion and denial. "Wait a minute, Dad. Maybe Mom has her issues, but I'm still your daughter, right?" she protested desperately, trying to cling to her place in the family hierarchy. Amanda, feeling the sting of her daughter's words, expressed her shock. "Are you betraying me now, Emma?" she accused, her voice tinged with hurt and disbelief. As tensions escalated, Liam quickly intervened to prevent further conflict. "To avoid more trouble, I've arranged for you both to stay with an acquaintance until you find your footing again. They will be here shortly to pick you up. Please get your essential belongings ready," he instructed, his tone leaving no room for argument. With heavy hearts and no other options, Amanda and Emma packed their belongings. Shortly after, an acquaintance of Liam, who managed a factory with living accommodations, arrived to escort them to their new temporary home. Meanwhile, Samuel, Liam, and I took the opportunity to inform our employees about the impending merger with a larger corporation, preparing them for the changes and challenges ahead. Amid these significant life adjustments, I discovered I was pregnant. I shared the joyous news with the president of the acquiring company, who responded enthusiastically and promised to arrange a suitable replacement for my position, ensuring a smooth transition. With the promise of new beginnings and the anticipation of our growing family, Samuel and Liam dedicated themselves even more passionately to their work, inspired by the bright future ahead.